Hello and welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. This is a reading for Scorpio. If Scorpio is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your reading. Please hit the like button, leave a comment, consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. Now, this is going to be a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger. And I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I might provide. And remember, Scorpio, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. Look at that devil energy. Very strong, very assertive way to begin. This is really some ambition, some energy, some endurance that is needs some direction, right? This is something that we, and then we've got, okay, there's the direction. Good, we got this. All right, this is very nice. Also, if there's anything you need me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know. I'm going to finish up with the path of the, path of the serpent here. This is really strong energy. I feel like this is happening quickly. I feel like there is no need for delay. We're going to do our mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card using the Waite-Smith deck. And one card, frog on top. We're not going to look at it until the end, so stick around. And hopefully that card will, tie everything together and give us the confirmation that we need. So, we've got that major arcana, major and major. We've got fire and fire, we've got earth, and we've got water and water. The only thing we don't have is air. And you know what? That's because the time for thinking and debating and discussing is done. It's time to act. These cards are all action-based cards. Though, if you're a follower of this channel, you know what I say about these even-numbered cards, right? That these are the states. These are the resting places. These are like the milestones along the way, the little encampments, the little landmarks that we might see, the resting places, right? It's not the summit, but these are nice places to kind of end up for the night. We got a 4 of Wands, we got a 2 of Cups. The 9 here is the last push up the summit, right? The last push through this final doorway with this Eon or Judgment card. This is really tremendous. And I think it's happening very quickly. I think the time for action is right now. We started with this devil energy and this Knight of Wands, fire on fire, and the fire of the earth with Capricorn devil energy, right? So you're someone now that has all of this fire energy. It's so much momentum. It's so much just this intensity, this ambition and enthusiasm, a real heat, a real fire. It's this kind of raging, blazing fire in you that's pushing you forward, okay? And you're making practical choices. You're doing things that are manifesting, that are causing changes in your world. You're making things happen, right? And this energy here is just, it's all creation. It's all creative fire, and then manipulating the environment, moving around the physical, materials. But if we don't have any kind of direction, if we don't have any kind of air, there's no air energy, right? So are you doing all of this intense activity kind of blind? Are you doing it just from impulse and intuition, maybe? But from just this fiery blaze of energy, is there any direction? Is there any planning? Was there any forethought? Okay? Because this energy here is like that raging wildfire that, unfortunately is kind of seems like every year, twice a year, the world gets a lot of these really horrible wildfires. And anyway, this is the same thing, but kind of, but energetically, spiritually, right? So we need the direction, but there's no air energy, all right? So this is just raging fire. But but we do have some magic here, and I'll show you how that works out. In the recent past here, we have the Prince of Discs. This is the heir of the earth. You see, all the court cards are elemental and sub-elements, and So this one is representing the heir of the earth. Okay, heir of earth. The Prince of Discs. And this card is, a very hard-working card. This is the card that can do the daily grind and the routine work, and it's just very laborious, very steady. It's kind of like that that bull or the oxen, right? Doesn't really complain, just takes its direction and just does the work. Just keeps going. This card, interestingly, is also the kind of physical manifestation, right? The kind of the 3D, the earthly manifestation of Taurus. Okay, now I know I'm talking to Scorpio, but I think it's a little bit of this Taurus energy that we need. Now, here's the real magic. Down here in your general energy, we have the Hierophant card. This card rules the sign of Taurus. So this is the direction that we need, these two. We have the spiritual plan, right? The spiritual insight, the direction that's coming from our higher self, or from our Hierophant, from our initiator, from our guardian angel spirit guide, right? From our true self, our conscience, our higher mind, whatever you believe in. This is the divine plan that has been instructing you and has informed this Prince of Discs what to do, how to do it, and the Prince of Discs just says, I'm on it, and gets to work. And that's the direction that we need with this fire energy. Right? Because the fire is really what is important here. We have fire up here, this is fire, this is fire, we end with fire, right? But getting from this fire to that fire, a lot of water here. It's kind of cool. No pun intended. Could be hot water, you don't know. But anyway, the idea here is that we have discovered that spiritual connection, that spiritual source for our idea, and we're putting it into action with that connection, that divine, heavenly, spiritual connection to our work, informing us of what to do and how to do it. So we don't need these little swords cards. We don't need this air energy in the middle of all of this. Because we don't have to second guess, we don't have to doubt, we don't have to figure things out. We are receiving instructions directly from source, And that's the magic of this Hierophant. Again, this is the kind of spiritual archetype, and this is it in practical usage. It's a practical thing in your life. You've already figured out, you already know what you're doing and how to do it. Now it's just a matter of doing it, of pushing through, of just continuing to burn, right? Keeping your engines going. Now, we have the Devil energy. We have the Knight of Wands here. With the Devil energy, I feel like it's something very creative that you're doing. We talked about creation, where you're manifesting things. But I think it's really an opportunity for you to kind of showcase your artistic skills a little bit. So, it could be many, many things. But I think it's where you really shine, I think it's where you really feel like you want people to look at you, you want people to see, because you're proud of what you're doing and you're good at it. And it's a way for you to kind of show off a little bit, right? And I feel like that's, in some ways, what you're doing as far as your work. Now, this doesn't have to be your career, it doesn't have to be an art project or something. It's whatever you do every day, whatever your work is, okay? It doesn't have to be a job or employment. You could be retired and you can still have work, right? It's your focus. It's what you're immersing yourself in every day. And at the top here with the Four of Wands, this is these temporary milestones. This is you finding a place to camp for the night, getting a ring of stones, right? Going out collecting the stones for your fire ring, fire pit, or whatever it's called. Starting the fire and enjoying it for the night. Okay? It's a temporary milestone. You've produced, you've taken the fire, you've manifested it. But that's not the end of the game. That's not the end of the road. You're still climbing the mountain. This is just one camp for a night or two, or a year or two, depends on your timeline. So we have to, we need some authority in our life to kind of wake us up when the sun rises and says, hey, get your stuff together, saddle up, let's keep going, you know? And that's what we have the Emperor down here for. This is like your internal alarm clock. This is like your drill sergeant that is just saying, okay, look, it's dawn. It's, you know, maybe it's an hour before sunrise. It's time to get up, brush your teeth, get dressed, let's go. Okay, we're back on the horse, and we're doing our work. We're grinding, we're riding, we're doing it with all of our effort until we reach the next milestone, and then we can set out our stones again and build our campfire, and we can rest for the night. And this is kind of the process. And then we need this drill sergeant, this authority, to kind of to get in our face and you know, blow their whistle or their trumpet or whatever, and wake us up to get us going again, because it's nice by that campfire, right? It's warm, it's cozy. So this is kind of the cycle. This is kind of how the work is going. It's all fire energy here with a little bit of earth. A little bit of earth. So the little bit of earth are these little milestones, these little campfires that you build, right? The markers along the way to our ultimate goal, which is up here, this eon or judgment. This is the rebirth. This is you awakening to the rest of your life up here. So now we're taking all this fire energy and we got to go through this water. We got to continue with the Hierophant energy too. So there comes a point where you're going to have to reconnect with that Hierophant. Just check in with your spirit guides, okay? But the way forward really is through love. If you're not enjoying this process, if you're not sharing it and loving it and benefiting from it, you know, emotionally or spiritually or physically, then is it really the right path, right? This is you needing to feel that this is the right thing, you know? And this is where we kind of have to check in with spirit guide or guardian angel to say, you know, does this still have the same feeling of love, of connection? Does it still feel like the right thing? Do I still feel that sense of destiny, that aspiration to do this work? Or do I need a little bit of clarity in which direction I'm going, okay? And that's, you know, again, the Hierophant. We can check in with the Hierophant. It's not something that we really need to invoke any swords or any air energy over, you know? It's not that we need to start doubting ourselves or analyzing or making a mind map or anything like that. I mean, it could be part of your process, but it really is a checking in with source, with spirit, with guardian angel, spirit guides, to get clarity or to get confirmation of our direction. And that's related very much to this Two of Cups. Now, this is the state, this is a resting place of love, of you pausing, maybe when we're at this campfire, when we've hit this milestone and we've produced this thing and we're kind of resting here for the night. We can try to become aware of how we feel. Do we still feel connected? Is it still a joyful, loving experience? Does it still have the same feeling as you know, before we started, right? Do we still feel connected? Does it still feel like a spiritual thing? Does it still feel like a divinely sanctioned task? Like, we have to assess that. And this is taking account of our state of emotion at the highest level, you know. We may be tired and run down. We may have had an argument that day. So our lower emotions might be in some turmoil. It happens. But our kind of higher emotions, our spiritual emotions, our highest ideal and our highest sense of love, are we still good? Is there still that connection here? And that's kind of what we do to keep going, and then we start making more progress, obviously. So we've talked about the Hierophant. The next thing is this Queen of Cups, which probably should have talked about in tandem with the Two of Cups, because this is about the emotional clarity. This is about being emotionally transparent with yourself. This is the idea here that we might not be able to see how we feel. We might not be able to really know, because there's this veil between our conscious mind and our unconscious. There's a veil between how we think we feel and how we feel. This card here is water on water, right? So it is maybe projecting one type of emotion outwardly, but then inside we kind of feel differently. So we need to try to either clean the lens here or just kind of move the veil away so we can see, so we can mix the water together, and get everybody on the same page. So that's the result of the Hierophant. The Hierophant will allow us to have that emotional transparency. Will allow us to see ourselves in a way that maybe we couldn't have before. It'll bring us just that necessary insight or shock or awakening, where we can see a little bit more clearly, right? It'll allow us to reflect back to ourselves what's really going on underneath the surface. So it's a lot of introspection, but not in that mental swordsy kind of way, right? In the emotional way. And that doesn't mean, of course, that we're not going to think about how we feel. I think it's kind of unavoidable. But we're not intentionally trying to like think with our feelings, right? Or feel with our thoughts. We're trying to accurately feel the feelings, right? We got to keep it on the plane of water here as much as possible. And I think that kind of reassessment, the realignment with ourselves, the reflection about what's going on internally is going to give us the ambition, the enthusiasm, the love, the grace, really, to continue forward. 9 of Cups, the pursuit of your happiness. This is the final climb. This is the last couple of rungs of this ladder that you're climbing. Okay. And this is the active card. It's an odd number. It's a 9. So this is the movement. This is you climbing the ladder for physical, emotional, intellectual, spiritual success and abundance and well-being. And I think this process is happening, like I said, fairly quickly because of all this fire energy. You seem a little impatient. Okay, that's a good thing. I'd rather be a little bit impatient than be a little bit, lazy and like not wanting to go. You know what I mean? I'd rather have too much fire than not enough, honestly. And I think you would too. So this is the final push. This is the last couple of steps. Okay. And what are we climbing to? What's at the top of the ladder? Well, this magical, mystical doorway to where? Where are we going? What is on the other side of this door? Okay. I think that this is really a big step. It's going to be a big decision to go through this door, whatever this is. If this is like a breakthrough kind of success, if this is you really feeling like, okay, I've made it. If this is you like breaking out on the scene or entering this new world, right? I feel like this is shutting the door on kind of the old life. This is it's a portal to a future, but it's going to seal the door behind it, right? So you've got to make the decision to close the door on the old stuff, whatever that might be, right? There's something now that if you go through this, we get to the top of this mountain, to the last rung of the ladder, if you want to go through this wormhole, there's no going back. Okay? So this is that moment of decision, right? The biggest decision of your life, really. You've got to now decide, are you going in or are you going to stay here? Right? We'll miss you back here, but we're also very proud of you for getting this far, and we know you're going to do fine on the other side. And that could be, going from just kind of like amateur stuff to like turning pro. You know what I mean? Like really leveling up in a way that you're not going to be able to go back to the way things were, or how you used to do things, or, to the life that you had before. This is a big, big step. A life-changing decision here. And this is the moment where you're being asked to decide. Are you going to take that leap? Or do you want to kind of climb down, stay at one of these campsites that we visited before? What are we going to do, Well, we're going to do this mystery card. That's what we're going to do. Thank you, Frog. I don't know. Maybe we see the Judgment card again. Maybe we'll see an Ace of Wands. Maybe we'll see a 6 of something, showing the kind of the beauty and harmony of your decision after you've made it. The confirmation that you've made the right decision. Maybe we'll see some water energy to show that we have received and we've achieved the emotional transparency, and we've connected with the Hierophant again, and we're all good, Maybe we'll see some air energy. No. Let me see an 8 of Cups. Now, the 8 of Cups doesn't really help me to predict your decision. I don't think you've made your decision yet. I can't predict your decision. The 8 of Cups is either you walking away from all of this old stuff, walking into your future, right? Going through this portal, through this wormhole, into this new era, and there's no going back across that stream. There's no going back to those cups. This is the old cups, and they're empty now. You've used them, you've drank the water, you've recycled your plastic bottle. That's it. The only way to go is forward. The other hand, this card could be saying that you're choosing to walk away from these 9 cups, walk away from the last rung of the ladder. You're going back down the hill. Going back to one of these previous campsites. Okay? So this is kind of the unknown card. Right? This is the variable here. And in the Thoth deck, this 8 of Cups would show half of them are drained of their water, and the rest of them, the water you can kind of see overflowing from the cups. So it's the question of, are our cups emptying, or are we filling them up? Is the glass half full or half empty? So this is kind of the emotional question, the uncertainty here. So I can see that this is going to be a very difficult choice for you. This is the most important decision. When you get to this doorway, that's the moment that you have to decide. Very interesting. I love it. We're going to do an extended. If you would like to stick around, just click on the link up here. Thank you for being here. Hit the like button, leave a comment, subscribe if you haven't yet. And thank you for being the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot.